Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, что молчите? Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, my unlimited Dandavat pranams to lotus feet of Srila Gurudev, Nitya Prishtam Vishnupad, Astutra Satya Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Shiksha Gurudeva Swam Vishnupada Astutra Satya Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Srimati Krishna Priya Thakurani, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, Shri Satyavrata Muni, Shri Sanatan Goswami Pad, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Pujapad Damodar Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. So, we're hearing verse 5. Idam te mukham bojam avyakta nilair vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaischa gopyam mohushchumbitam bimba rakta daram me manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai. So, Pujapad Damodar Maharaj told extensively the meanings of this verse. So, hope there's something for me also. So, Sri Satyavrata Muni in the 4th and 5th verses is, in the 4th verse he is stating about his desire. He wants to attain. He wants to attain permanent meditation on the lotus feet of the Lord, meditation on wonderful Damodar. We heard in verses 2 and 3 how he is mesmerized by Yashoda's love. When Yashoda ties Krishna, he celebrates Yashoda's victory together with Krishna because Krishna is so happy. Yashoda has won in that loving competition. So he becomes subordinate, he becomes totally controlled by mother by removing his Aishwarya Shakti. We heard of all of that. So then Krishna is saying, oh, you're so much attracted by me, but what do you want from me? Then in verse 4, Satyavrata Muni is saying first what he doesn't want. We heard a lot about that. He doesn't want liberation. He doesn't want even the highest level of liberation, which is Vaikuntha Bhakti. He doesn't want even the results of Navavida Bhakti, the Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc., regulated devotional service. Doesn't want. He wants to be always meditating on Balagopala, little Krishna in his mind. So, therefore he starts meditating. And when he starts meditating, then it's like a magnifying glass, like a, how to say, the tube. You know, he's making it, the image closer, 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 and he's concentrating on the lotus face of Krishna. So, lotus face is being kissed by Mother Yashoda. Mohushchumbitam bimba rakta daram. His lotus lips are like bimba fruit, you heard. Yeah, Sadhu didn't go to Uchchagan yesterday, Lalita's place. Bimba fruits are there. So, there was a discussion previous years whether Krishna is is being kissed by Mother Yashoda into his lips, yes or no. Some devotees were saying no. Pujapad Madhusudan Maharaj explained that yes, why not? Cheeks and lips also, all face is being kissed by Mother Yashoda because she is totally controlled by motherly love. That's the highest manifestation of Vatsalya. Therefore, she is not even cognizant what part she is kissing, but she is so much immersed in her love. So Yashoda being, Krishna being Yashoda Damodar, Radha Damodar also. So two meanings here. Yashoda is kissed by the Gopi Yashoda and Gopi Radha also. Radha Shagopya. So Gopi Yashoda and also senior gopis who are so much eager to do that. They are able to do that. When Krishna comes, steals the milk products, steals their butter, and creates mischief in their houses. So they're also sometimes able to do that. And the gopis as well. So the word muhush is especially significant, Srila Sanatana Goswami is mentioning here, because muhush means again and again. Muhu muhu, again and again. So he is seeing in his meditation how Yashoda is kissing Krishna, his face, again and again, again and again. And again and again, again and again, he wants to be meditating on that. Avirastam alam lakshala. Me manasya virastam. So muhush muhush, me manasya virastam. Again and again, I want to contemplate that avirastam in my manas, in my mind, again and again. And you remember in verse 4, he was saying, Kimanye, what's the use of any other attainments? What's the use of impersonal realization? What's the use of going to Vaikuntha? What's the use of receiving the results of Navavida Bhakti and ninefold devotional service? If the Lord is in your heart and you meditate upon Him and you're always immersed in that kind of sweet devotion. So there's nothing higher than that. That's what Laksha Anya, Lak means hundreds of thousands. So hundreds of thousands, or rather to say millions of attainments are not interesting for Satyavrata Muni, because he is always immersed in that meditation. So Maharaj mentioned meeting with of Gopakumara with Pipalayana Rishi in Tapaloka. In Tapaloka, they are under the 4 Kumaras. It's worshipable superiors. So Gopakumaras were heard meditating on their worshipable Lord so deeply that they even become, take the forms of their Lord, of different incarnations. It's a type of Vaikuntha Bhakti, so sometimes they immersed in meditation on one form, sometimes on another, one Kumar on one form, the other Kumar on the other form, Ramachandra, Nrisimhadev, Vamana, Varaha, etc. So, but when Gopakumar was there, he was not able to find his Jagannath, his Krishna. He was trying to look for the Lord everywhere, because when he was Jagannatha Puri on this earth, he was so much attracted to the deity. So he is a deity worshipper, he's a devotee. And he was shocked by the fact that in that planetary system, Tapaloka, all the residents are immersed in meditation within the mind. So he was asking, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? So first they were not eager to speak. And then they said, oh, if you want, he's over there. They showed at the direction, like he's situated there. But they also gave him the hint that we're not interested in going and worshipping him directly, because that's the sensual activity. Yeah, sensual activity. But that's a long discussion we'll be discussing next time, actually, between Pipalayana Rishi and Gopakumar. Pipalayana Rishi was trying to say that while our mind is not controlled by the power of meditation, then our senses are like wild horses, so we cannot really concentrate on the vision of the Lord, of the darshan of the Lord, where our senses are not ready. So we have to first discipline our senses, discipline our mind by the process of meditation, and when the mind is subdued, then our meditation becomes anusmriti, constant remembrance, and then we enter samadhi. That's the philosophy of those kind of devotees, like Char, 4 Kumaras. So Pipalayana Rishi was saying, like, again and again you're saying you want to take darshan. What for? Don't you know that while your mind is not controlled, while your senses are turbulent, while your senses are so overactive, by contemplating on material objects, you're not able to really meditate on the Lord. But Gopakumara is saying no. Actually, Srila Sanatana Goswami also explains that when we go deeply into the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, especially Kirtanam, which is stressed so much in verse 6, Namo Deva Nama Naranta Vishnu, finally we'll hear how Satyavrata Muni takes to Kirtan and starts glorifying the names of Damodar, Deva, Damodara, Vishnu, etc., then by power of kirtan he achieves samadhi, bhakti samadhi. By kirtanam and shravanam and smaranam, these three processes he achieves mature, constant meditation, which is actually going after the kirtanam, smaranam. So we don't have to purify our minds separately. This is the process of yoga, and also that is the process of that kind of bhakti, typical for the Kumaras, Pipalayana Rishi, it's all those devotees in Tapaloka. So that's typical for them, but not for us, who are aspiring for Vraja Bhakti. Because in Vraj, what do? Do they discipline the mind? The gopis. The gopis received the message from Krishna sent by Uddhav. Tomorrow we'll go to Nandagaon and we'll hear in Uddhava Kyari about the message of Uddhav and how the gopis met it. They said, hey, you're telling us about meditating on Krishna, but we are unhappy actually. When we meditate on him, we want to forget about him because he is giving us so much pain. Yeah, we're not the yogis, we're just ordinary village girls, so that's not for us. What do? They always sing. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, He Krishna, He Yadava, He Saketi, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. Like this. So automatically they're remembering. When they're singing. So once we devotees sing, like Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, during Arati, we're seeing the deity also, directly, before our eyes. So that is the way to discipline the mind, singing and contemplating simultaneously. That's the process of mantra artha chintana. When we meditate on our mantras, when we chant different bhajans, Srila Gurudev used to stress, you have to think of the meanings, you have to express your feelings, and you have to always be in anugati of the authors of bhajans. That's very important. What Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wants to say here. What Rasika Vaishnavas, the authors, like Chandidas, Vidyapati, Sankirtans of them, also in the bhajan, in the songbook. Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So we're trying to imbibe their moods by singing. Srila Gurudev used to say, never think you're the singer of that kirtan. Never. That's demonstration of false ego. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing. Srila Narottam Thakur is singing. And we're trying to just follow that mood. How? By being present in kirtan. That's why kirtan is so important. During Kartik month, we're singing so many kirtans. So dear devotees, please try not to miss. Many devotees missing still, purposefully sometimes. So we have to sit and try to meditate on the meanings, to contemplate the moods of the authors. Guru Parampara, Vaishnava Vandana, all those. Like we're hearing about the glories of the Vaishnavas. Every Vaishnava is able to liberate all universe. That is true. That is not an exaggeration, that is not a metaphor. That is really, really fact. So, by hearing kirtans from those Vaishnavas, Uttama Vaishnavas, who are really able to deliver all the world from birth and death and from miseries, then we will understand their power. Yeah. How will we understand their power? By service. So we're hearing and chanting after them, and in the service mood, then we're trying to serve them somehow or other, or follow the instructions, at least. So, therefore, that's how the movements, the moods of the kirtan will be able to manifest in our hearts. Then it will be manifest. So, no need to sit, no need to, try to engage our mind by force, separately from kirtan. Never separately from kirtan. So, Maharaj mentioned also that on the level of Raganuga Bhakti, yes, Smaranam taking a special position, leading position. But Kirtan has never stopped. What's that verse Srila Rupa Goswami is saying in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu about the practice of Raganuga? Shravanam Kirtana Divi, that verse. So during the practice of Raganuga, we'll never leave Kirtan, we'll never leave all the other limbs of Bhakti. That devotee can be perfect, but that devotee will never leave Kirtan, that devotee will never leave practice which seems to be to laymen too regulated, like, oh, that's too rigid, that's too regulated. No, they're not living it, they're not doing it out of Vaidhi mood at all. They're totally Raganuga, but the mood is also based upon Kirtan. They'll never leave Kirtan. So the gopis are doing Kirtan all the time. They don't sit and meditate. That's why they were, ridiculing the message brought by Uddhava. In Vrindavan, there's one place called Jnana Gudri. Gudri means little pieces of paper. You know, when you tear something you don't like and throw away, that's called Gudri. So Jnana means knowledge. So Uddhava brought them knowledge, the message of knowledge from Krishna, Jnana. So they just tore it apart and threw into Yamuna. That's why the place is called Jnana Gudri. The pieces of Krishna's knowledge are still there in Yamuna, thrown by the gopis. So that's the reaction, you know. What's the need of that knowledge if we're singing all the time the glories of our beloved Krishna? So we're hearing about these sweet pastimes, very, very deep meanings, and we're especially glad to hear from exalted Rasika Vaishnavas. So Pujapat Madhusud Maharaj will speak now. Shri Damodarashtakam ki jai, Shri Satyavrata Muni ki jai, Shri Sanatana Goswami Pada ki jai, Kartika Vrata ki jai, Gaur Premanande. Dear devotees, once again, so in the evening program,